New show alert. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome back to Adobe Live. Hi. We are here today with Holly Rose Stones. Hi, Holly. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Really
great.
excited.
I'm so excited. So it is an early morning for me, but you are otherwhere in the world. Where are you today?
Yes. So I'm in the UK and it is 5:30 here, and I believe it's 9:30 there.
This
So
is perfect.
we're
Yes, it
other end of
is.
the day.
Yeah, it's like a workplace world sandwich. I'm
I love
starting, you're
it.
ending. It's perfect. Um, Well, welcome to the new show, everyone. We're going to give a little intro. I'm Andrew Hochradel. I'll be your host for this episode. Our guest, Holly Rose Stones, of course, we just mentioned. And this is a new show called PS Ping Pong. It's going to be a fun time. I know Holly's super excited. We've both been just like giggling before the show because we're so excited about this. I want to tell you a little bit about what the show is going to be. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to be working in Photoshop, but here's the twist. We'll be working on this same cloud document. So Holly, you are on the other side of the world, but somehow we're going to
Yeah.
get to work together and collaborate, which is so cool. So if you're just joining us today, hello, let us know where you are in the world in chat. And if I'm looking over here, that means I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, but over there, chat. And if you just missed it before this, we had the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge with our friend Voodoo Val. So you can tune in early tomorrow and catch that right before episode 2, where we will have a new guest working on the same file. All right, Holly, tell us a little bit about you, what you do, where you are, where people can find you, all that goodness.
So I'm a photographer, digital artist. I mainly shoot self-portraits, but my sort of work is kind of like a bit surreal. I like adding loads of different elements. So it's kind of Photoshop really heavy. I love creating my own stock images and just putting it all together and creating from it. But I'm in the UK and yeah, I'm creating my own studio at the moment so I can create my stock photos, which is good. And yeah, this is just something I love doing and it's exciting.
Yep. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of your stuff here. Let me pull it up. Where can people find you on Instagram or Behance or anywhere?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, pretty much on every social platform. Holly Rose Stones. It's just one big word.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm just all over the place.
All right.
And TikTok as well. I've tried that.
Oh, you're on TikTok. I know that's
Yeah.
that's like feels like a fringe platform for creatives right now, but I love seeing creatives on their working process. So
yeah,
here's some
I really
of your work.
enjoy doing behind the scenes, and I've got a YouTube channel as well where I do all behind the scenes and tutorials. I've getting into reels and all that. So
so here's some of
kind of thing.
her work on the screen. Amazing, incredible work. As you can see, very surreal. Putting yourself in just the most compromising of positions, but in an imaginary world. And I love that. And I would love to live in this Christmas tree cookie zone that you have. Like, I want to be there, please.
It just makes you want to dive in, doesn't it?
Yes. So if you want to follow, you can also click, I believe there's a button floating somewhere around us to where you can follow along. I believe it's right below the description here. You can follow along, check it out, and yeah, get connected with Holly. All right, Holly, are you ready?
I am ready. I am so ready.
I think that I'm ready. I think we have no more announcements, no more stalling. Let's hop in. And chat, I want to give you the inside scoop on where we're starting and what we're looking at. If we can throw up our intro slide, I want to break down kind of the basis of the show and what we're starting with. So again, Ping Pong is the ultimate test of creativity and collaboration. We are going to be working together, the two visual artists, on the same Photoshop cloud document. And the cool thing about cloud documents is we share it with each other. It syncs in real time, and we're able to save and go back and forth. And we'll be each adding a layer or a concept to this file. And to start out, here are the layers that we have. We have some disco balls. We have a model. We have some neon lights. There's fog there in the foreground. And then we have a little bit of a background that's kind of concrete. So those are our starting files and our starting layers. And I think that we're going to start out with Holly taking the first swing at this and adding the first concept. We'll be going back and forth all day for this show. If you have ideas, chat, let us know. If you love something, hate something, let us know as well, and maybe we can incorporate it. And Holly, I know that you have ideas. You have had this file before, so I know you have some ideas. Where are you thinking about taking it?
So this is really out of my comfort zone with neon. I don't think I've ever worked with neon before, really. I mean, I like dark images more recently, but I feel like I don't know, I've been playing around with lots of different colors and things like that. So I may change the colors of this. And I'm thinking of maybe changing the aspect ratio, because I usually work in about 8 by 10. So that's where I'm going to take this first. So I can see that. I know. I was like, I'm just going to go in with it. But I'm going to change it.
I love that the start is just like, let's blow it up immediately. I love that. Bold move. I'm
just going to go for it. So I want to crop, but I just want to make sure that I don't lose the layers behind. So I'm just going to move this into the middle.
And great job past Andrew at accidentally letting those layers bleed over into extra space. I didn't know they were extending that far. So,
well, I want to keep them just in case I want to use them in the future. That's what I always do, because otherwise, if you crop, it kind of just gets rid of them. So we're going to go for an 8 by 10.
I love that.
But I really want to make this girl here a little bit bigger in the frame. But I also was thinking of moving the disco balls and maybe just having one disco ball. So I'm going to go into the layers and get rid of one potentially for now.
I love that you went there, because as I was building it, I was like, this feels like a lot. So I'm glad that we're on the same page there.
I really like the disco ball, but I just feel like there was two, and it was, I don't know, the crop for me personally.
Yeah,
I think I would have preferred it bigger.
Yeah, I feel like 2 disco balls would be disorienting. Like if I was in a club and they had 2 going at the same time, I would just be like swimming in a fishbowl. Yeah.
So I'm going to go to the background here. Let me just make my layers a little bit bigger.
Oh, and someone asked in chat, can the same copy of Photoshop be used to access at the same time by 2 people? No. Yes. Yes and no. Sorry. So we can't be working on it simultaneously. No. One of us has to have it closed. So what we're going to do is Holly's going to save it out, and it will immediately sync in a million tiny pieces above our heads with Adobe Sensei technology, all that magic. And then it will come to me synced on that same file. So I can't have it open at the same time, but we can collaborate back and forth super quickly.
Which is so exciting and so like fun with nowadays. Like I just feel like I'm going to do this more often now.
Yep.
This is a great concept.
It already feels completely different. This is insane. I'm so excited for the show.
So we're going to go into, where is she? She's there. I'm going to move her down a little bit because I want to go back into the fog, but I just want to make her a little bit bigger. Yep.
And with the documents that we're using right now, I think that we may end up having some issues with resolution as they go. So if something gets pixelated, it's all right. We're just playing around today and having fun. Yeah, there's no rules in design. Like we want to just have fun.
So this is really interesting because you've done something behind her head. I'm just trying to work this out.
Yep. I think that things are masked out of her. And so if you just kill those masks, I think that everything will come straight through.
This.
Yes. I think the neons are masked. And I think the fog might be as well.
Okay. So all right. I see. That makes sense.
Yes.
So this is it's bigger.
It's the ultimate. Like having the art director that's like, okay, I love what you did, but like, let's maybe explore something different. Like it's just 100% that.
I love like her pose and I love the way that the light hits her face. I feel like I'm going to play with that a little bit more. Yep. But it's just so interesting, isn't it? To see where I actually didn't think that you would come with this file. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was just like, whoa.
Yep.
This is great. So I'm going to take her, where's the fog zone? This is weird because I'm like trying to figure out where all the files are. the layers are as well.
Yeah, I think it is every creative's nightmare to work on someone else's file. Like 100%. And as I was setting it up, yeah, exactly. As I was setting it up, I'm like, oh no, I'm masking this, or like I'm adding this layer style of like, oh man, I hope we can pick up on this. And it's nice that we can talk and collaborate through. But it is super stressful. My goodness, it looks so different already. I'm so excited.
How different does it look? So I'm just gonna, I think I need to extend that top bit a little bit. There we go. Right, so I'm going to go to where are libraries there? I'm going to go get my stock photos that I prepared because I knew that I wanted to add in some flowers because I'm obsessed with flowers.
Yes.
And I wanted to I felt like she needed some flowers around her face or maybe around the disco ball. So I'm going to bring in this big set of flowers here.
Yes, I love that. And this is like, I actually pulled up that image and I thought, I know she loves flowers. Maybe we should incorporate some of these. And so I'm glad that we're going there.
Yeah. So I sort of chose an Adobe stock photo that had all the colors. Oh, I can change maybe them because we had the purple for the neon color. We haven't got green, but I might be able to change the colors depending on what flowers we use. So I think I might actually start with the purple ones. So if we make this a little bit bigger.
Yes. And someone says we definitely need some house music or some 80s disco in here. Yes, absolutely.
That would be good if we could put that behind it.
Yeah. I'll just be here. I'll just be background conversations happening. Somebody scream.
So I think, which flower should we pick? So I've just done a quick mask. This is just really quick for this stream. But I quite like, I don't know, maybe these two here. So if we go like this and select them, I'm actually going to change them onto a different layer so it's just more usable.
Oh, thank you. Wow. What a blessing. And yes, someone's saying we're slowly incorporating the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge theme. That's right. We are doing a flowers theme this week on the Daily Creative Challenge. And so this is a perfect match.
There we go. So I'm going to just pop this behind her head. Ooh.
Okay. All right. We're immediately going somewhere. And yes, Anika, the chat is going super fast today. It is spicy chat. So thanks for being so engaged, everyone. It is.
This is great.
If you have questions for Hannah as well about her work, her process, anything, put those in chat. I'll relay those messages on as she works or as I work or as whoever is working on this stream on that ping pong.
Perfect. So this is a really quick mask. Would usually take a lot longer for this, but I thought, you know what? We're not going to spend too long on it today.
Yep, that's exactly how I think of masking. And sometimes I'll use the quick selection tools, I'll use the object tools or whatever. And sometimes I'll go in with just a super feathery brush and just be like, just right around the edge. And be like, yeah, sure, that works. Put a little drop shadow in it.
There we go. So, I mean, when you zoom out, we can't tell at this moment. So if we pop this behind her head, I kind of want it in front of the neon though. So I'm quite interested to see how this neon, so the neon is masked.
The neon is masked around her head, yes.
I see.
Also, very, very proud of the hair masking that happened there.
Yeah, that was great. I did actually zoom in and have a look because I do.
Yes.
I've lost her.
And Fury, how do you place your objects in perspective? I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Usually when I'm working, there is a perspective tool. There also is a free transform tool, which is what I use. I just kind of grab a corner and move it until it feels right. There are technical ways to do it, but again, in design, no right answers, no wrong answers, whatever you need to do to get there.
Different. So I liked it behind it, but we'll see. Yeah, maybe a little bit bigger. Quite like that.
Yeah, and I mean, we can kill the neon and come back to it too.
Yeah, but then I quite like the neon. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll take the neon off
That's
for
going
now.
somewhere. I think the concept of neon may pin. I may come back in with some neon on mine.
I think so. Yeah, I think that'd be good. But I'm going to work without it for the moment. Where did they think
I got an idea.
Oh, this is great. So I'm going to bring back the other one that I wanted, which is this one here. In fact, just going to pick up the magic wand. We're just going to go magic wand for today.
Yep.
And
I can think of probably 6 different ways to select an object like that. And so if you're playing in Photoshop, you're just learning Photoshop, go ahead and explore all the things. Click on using the lasso tool, use the magnetic lasso tool, the magic wand, the object selector. You can go to object select subject. You can do color ranges. You can do a million different ways.
So many different ways.
It's so true. Oh man, the like purples with the the skin tone with the lighting with the lip, like everything is so harmonious there. I love those colors.
I do really love this. Right, so how far are we going to go with it before we switch over to you?
Yes,
this
and so we're
question.
Yeah, that's the thing. So if you're just joining us, we're doing a new show called PS Ping-Pong, to where we're going back and forth and collaborating on a file in real time. She is saving, it is coming over to me. We're working together, and so we're adding a concept each. And so the concept right now, I guess, is flowers. And Holly's managing that flower concept, which I absolutely love. And then once it gets over to me, we'll see where we take it.
Yeah, this is going to be so weird.
It is.
Can't wait to see what you do.
And a question from chat for you. I'm looking at your Instagram and I love it. When you go out and shoot, do you have the concepts in mind, or do you shoot yourself and then figure it out after?
So more recently, I've been doing more concept after, because I quite like the idea of like this, building it from a set of images, and then maybe I'll bring in another stock photo that I didn't have in mind before, that I found whilst creating it. Sometimes I do have the idea in mind and it will evolve anyway, so I try not to go into an idea with a set concept, depending on how I'm creating. So I do a 7 days with Holly challenge, where I basically create an image, a self-portrait every day for 7 days. And that week before, I sort of plan out my concepts. And that's when I'll sort of go in with an idea and create the idea that I've made sort of the week before. But then again, it might change. So it is both ways, really. It depends what kind of I'm feeling on the day. And I don't like to limit myself like that, because you never know where you're going to go with it, like today.
Yes, exactly. And for those of you in chat, you probably didn't see it, but it just happened. Holly just saved, and I saw on my screen, my little cloud went to syncing, and the aspect ratio is updated in my thumbnail. I have what you're working on. And so again, cloud documents are super helpful if you just use that invite to collaborate function. And I'll actually show you that when we come over on my screen, how to invite someone to collaborate on a project with you. Because it's amazing if you're having to work with someone else to not have to share a file back and forth and there's 90 million copies. It's just there. It just exists in the ether.
Yeah, because the amount of times I save a file and it's like _final version 1 _final version 15. And then I'm like, I don't know which one it is. I don't know which one I'm on.
Every single day. Yes. Yeah, every time I save them out, I'm like, ooh, here's a new naming convention. And you're like, why do I decide on this?
Yeah, and then a few months later, I go back to sort of go into the file again. I'm like, I don't know which one it was.
Yep, exactly. I always just
go
sort
into
by
every single one.
Yeah, last modified, and I'm like, whichever one is the most recent.
That's
true.
That's it. Yeah. So I quite like these 3 flowers. I think I'm going to duplicate this really nice, rich, pinky purple one. I want to make it a little bit smaller, maybe pop it behind the head there, or on top, maybe at the side. But this is how I work. I sort of just like play around with the file, the layer, and just move it around. And then when it sort of clicks, that's when it's a nice feeling. And then I just go with that and work on that.
Yep, exactly. And I think that that's so much of design. And we talk about this on Adobe Live a lot, that as we work, we can describe process, we can have the way that we like to design and create it. But a lot of times it is just about a feeling and an emotion that we want to evoke. And it's like, is this making me feel the way that I want it to make me feel?
That's exactly how we all work. I feel like, because when you can ask how people create their work, but I feel like it just comes to you and then you just go with it. But then saying that, I do go in with like, so I have today, I created where is it? A palette that I'd quite like to work with here. So I
Oh,
create a color palettes, and I have them like in store just in case when I'm creating a file, I'm a bit stuck for colors. So I'll just go to that and see, and then pick it up and then go from there. Right, I'm not sure where to put this one. I quite like that there. Then we'll duplicate the big one there.
yes. Carol in chat says the file that's just named this one in all caps .jpg. Yes.
This one, I do
This
that.
one.
This is the one.
Yes.
That is, yeah, that's so funny. So I quite like that there, but then I'm not sure about the colors. They're really like too similar. So I might change the color of that. Let's go to, I'm going to just go to hue and saturation and then create a clipping mask there.
Yep.
And just colorize it. This is how I do it. So I'll go to colorize and then just play around with the color.
And it's great being able to see your process of how you're doing that, because I was like, I hope that you were going to do some adjustment layers here, and that's what we're doing. So it's perfect.
Yes.
And for those of you in chat that aren't familiar with Photoshop, an adjustment layer is just something that augments what's underneath it. And so you can clip it to a specific layer, or you can do everything underneath it. And here we have it clipped to that specific flower. And that way we have a little more variation and we have some precision on being able to edit just that flower.
Exactly. And you can do that also with groups. So you can group a whole set of layers together and then create a clipping mask for that group, which is really good. I'm not too sure what color to go with this. The green looks quite nice, but then flowers aren't green. So sometimes it might get a bit confusing in terms of like concept, even though we've got a girl on the moon with a a ball above her. So, you know, we can go anywhere with this. You know what? I'm just going to leave that there and let you do what you want with it. So
I have one idea that I actually want to do, and then I have one idea that I want to try that I don't think is going to work. Those are
right. Okay. Well, I feel like it's now your turn. I do think it's your turn.
All right, let's move it over. So if you want to go ahead and save that as the cloud document, and then if you want to save as
a JPEG too.
Perfect. And so we're saving JPEGs so that we can actually go through the process and make a little GIF after the fact and show everything. So we're saving out that JPEG. And then if you want to shut that down. So as she closes document, literally 1, 2, 3, I click on my screen, and right here, boom, it is already saved out and we are good to go. It is on mine. It looks like there are some missing assets for links, but that's fine because right now we're working with it all rasterized. All right. So first of all, if you want to collaborate with someone on a document, all you have to do is go up here to this little plus, and you click on the plus and it goes to invite to edit, and we can invite people to edit this file, and then they can work back and forth just like we are. Now, here's what I want to do. When we pinned the neon, I had the idea that I want to try to like take the outlines of these flowers and incorporate neon somehow into like around her. Like I love the idea that she's the focus and we're kind of creating this. And so I'm going to try an effect with one of these.
Okay. This is interesting.
See,
I'm excited.
Yes, what happens. Okay. So I want this one, and I'm just going to command J, which is going to make a copy. And what I want to try to do, I'm going to apply this layer mask, is get the threshold of this. So I'm going to go to image. Oh, where are you, threshold?
There's
there's like a million different ways to do this.
Yeah.
What do I actually want to do with this? Let's do this.
Filter?
Yeah, let's go over here to an adjustment layer, and let's just do threshold here. And I'm going to try to find just maybe some little edges here and there of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge this down, and Command E is going to take that adjustment layer and just push it down to what that actual object is. And then from here, I'm going to use that magic wand and just select this black part and then go to select similar. And that will select all of the black area for me. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to select inverse and delete everything else because I just want that black area. Okay, so now we've got kind of just the highlights of this. And this is where it's maybe going to get crazy. And this is going to test for like, maybe we do this on other flowers. I'm going to go to blending options. And let me pull this over onto this screen. We are going to go to color overlay because we do want that to be maybe like a pink.
Ooh.
All right. So yeah, that's a little pink. We're getting like super like future vibes on this one. Then we're going to do an outer glow, which will give us, yes, that little bit of neon. So I want to take the opacity down and maybe take the spread down so it's a little more glowy. And
so that's how you did the neon.
Yes. So it literally is just an outer glow that has a little bit more of that kind of noise to it. And then I like to also do a little bit of an inner shadow, and that will give us that nice kind of depth on the inside. Yeah. And so I like to do an inner shadow of just like a little bit brighter of what that color is. Yeah, let's do that.
This is so interesting.
Right?
I don't think I've ever done a neon.
I think I need the color overlay to be like brighter so that it really feels like it's glowing from there. So let's do that. And then let's pull this inner shadow in further. Oh, I don't want an inner shadow. I want an inner glow. That's why it wasn't looking right. I was like, this looks weird. There we go. So that inner glow is going to give us that nice soft glow. Okay. And maybe we do this kind of neon. Oh, actually, let's sample it from down here and see if we can get maybe another. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And let's do our outer glow the same way to sample one of these other colors. And that way it stays in the same kind of color story. Okay, and then our color overlay, let's definitely change this as well to, ooh, okay, it's looking like, right? This is like interesting. All right, so let's do that. And then I'm actually just gonna blur this whole layer a little bit to try to get that edge not as tight. Okay, it's a weird effect. Let's see if I maybe color. I
feel like it needs to be a little bit brighter.
Color burn. I agree. Let's see what happens. So I always, when I'm like playing around, will make a copy and then turn off the bottom copy. And then I'll just merge this down. And let's try like a color dodge and see if we can get some kind of that like super pop vivid light. Okay, that's cool. All right, so that's cool. What I'm going to do now, I think, is delete this and do that process with all of those flowers. And then that way I can just do it all at the same time if I can remember how we did it. So I'm going to group these flowers together. Okay, those are all the flowers. And just for safety, I'm going to name this flowers. And I'm going to Command or Control J. Oh, that's so true. Someone in chat says, I love that hollyhock is a flower and we have Holly and Hawk together working on flowers.
I love that.
So I'm going to merge down this flowers layer, which is probably a bad idea because we won't be able to work on it more. But I'm going to do that same process and go to threshold. Ooh, this is going to look cool. Merge that down, use the magic wand and grab all of these similars. Got a little bit too dark for me. Let's go ahead and pull that up a little bit. Yeah. Merge that down, Command E, and then use the magic wand tool to select similar and then select inverse and delete. And that's fine. We just want these pieces. So from here, I'm going to go in and do those same blending options. And you know, the great thing about blending options is once you set them, they save all the same. So we can just go in and turn all these back on and they will be the same from what we did. Oh, it's so good. All right.
I know where I'm going. Going.
Oh, no. Okay. So then from there, we're going to merge this down and I'm just going to change that back to, I think we had it on vivid light to give it those gorgeous kind of glowing pieces. And I think the only other thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to mask up this flowers layer a little bit to get some of these little floaty edges. And that's literally it. Just a little bit of cleanup. And then I'm going to throw it back to you.
Oh, it's coming back.
I love, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, so just going to clean up some of these little floaties, and I think that's it. All right, so I'm going to save, and we have given it this hot pop of neon. Should I do this effect to the disco ball too real quick, just so we have it there?
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
Okay, let me do that real quick.
It.
Just because I have the that idea.
I'd quite like to see the disco ball in the effect.
I agree. So we're going to do this. We're going to merge it down. And again, there are so many times that I do this that I figure out kind of a process that I like. And then I'll go and just repeat that process again and end up just doing it super fast to get that result that I want. So we will select inverse, delete all that stuff. Oh, this is going to be cool. We'll go into blending options, turn on all of those things. We had an inner glow, and I'm actually going to change these to like greens because I think it'd be cool to have that contrast here. A little bit of green. Let's really pop it. All right, so okay. And then the way that I like to do it, if I have any kind of layer styles on there, is just make a blank layer below it and then Control E to merge it down, and it locks all those in. And then let's go to vivid light. Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, we've really ramped up these colors.
Changed.
This is cool.
Ooh.
All right, I'm going to close out this document. Actually, sorry, I'm going to save real quick, save out a JPEG just so we have it. And if you're working in the newer version of Photoshop, it is no longer in File Save As. You can go to File and Save a Copy, and then that will convert over. So I'm going to close that out, and fingers crossed for the magic of the cloud. Let's see if it syncs through. You're downloading, which is great.
It's loading.
We do have a question here from Maximo. I have a question. I'm an 18-year-old and I want to learn illustration and graphic design, but I'm still in school. What do you recommend me do? There's some great resources. Right before this stream, there was the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Right after this stream is the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge with yours truly. And today we are creating stylized illustrations. So just stick around after the show, and they happen every single day. They're a great way to learn and a great way to grow. And so you can go to behance.net/challenge/illustrator and tune in for that. That's coming up right after to get your source files. All right, so we are synced. We are in. This is working.
Yep, we're in.
So well. I'm so excited. Knock on wood. Everyone, knock on wood right now because I just said that. It's going to be great.
So when you were doing it on your screen, it looked slightly different. So I'm seeing like more of the neon now.
Cool.
So I can't wait for everyone who's watching this to actually see the finished file, because I feel like the neon doesn't really come across on the screen.
Ooh,
but this looks amazing. So I think I'm going to change the background because I feel like
it's boring.
And I feel like we need to be, because she looks like she stood on the moon. I mean, that's where my brain goes.
It's true.
So I'm going to get...
she's like alone at a warehouse party.
Exactly. So we need more, maybe... I quite like textures. So I'm going to go over my textures.
Oh, don't say those words to me, because that's my zone. Oh boy, here we go.
And I don't want to go too overboard with this, but I feel like this is my favorite texture. This is the texture that I use. This is a picture that I took of a canvas where I painted it grey and white and put speckled on it. And then I took a picture of it. And yeah, I use it for quite a lot of things. And if you go through, I mean, I've got like loads of stock photos of everything, bricks, wood. This is the sort of library that I created for myself. So I'm just going to drag and drop that into here. Also, major props for using Bridge. I don't know like any other people that use Bridge like on the basis in their workflow. And so yes, I love
bravo.
Bridge.
Yes.
I do use Bridge then. Do you use Bridge?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes.
That's all right.
I was reading chat. Yes.
That's fine.
Yes. Yeah, I had to go through. Go ahead.
I don't know anyone else who uses it either. I feel a bit, but I love it. I can 5-star everything. I can create folders, libraries. I just love it. Yeah. It's like the workflow of Lightroom and organization, but just for everything, which I love. Exactly. And you can make PDFs on there. You can make contact sheets. all the stuff. So I'm just going to leave it like this, and then we're done. No, I'm joking.
Right. Gonna go ahead and start over with texture. I'm down. I love texture.
Okay. So I'm going to take this down to the background, or sort of over the background. And this is where it's going to get interesting. I think I might create a room for her.
Ooh.
I'm just going to actually move this above the background and just take off the background completely. Let's just take it off. Where is...
I believe the rest of that is the fog. Yep.
There we go. That's the one. So I'm just going to take that off there. I'm going to leave that there for a minute. I'm going to open my texture. This is going like way off, but I feel like I'm going to come back to where we started. So.
Oh, we're definitely not. I'm definitely going to take it somewhere after this. I think I know what I want to do.
Okay, so I'm going to create a room. This is my favorite thing to do at the moment, is create a room.
Oh,
or
you're going to
like a
put
backdrop.
Her in a zone. Yeah. Okay.
Sort of, yeah. So if we have this as the backdrop, I think let's say, I mean, she's sort of cut off on her legs, so we're not going to have a floor. That's the only thing. But you know what? We're just going to go with it anyway. I can put the fog back on and we'll see. So if I duplicate that layer, just drag and drop down to the new layer and it duplicates it. And then I'm going to spin that so we just get some more of the different textures of the other side. Actually, I might just spin it to the side.
That is 100% the secret to textures is you can spin it, you can augment it. You also can use the clone stamp tool to just stamp a different part of the texture somewhere else. And then it makes it look like a new texture. It
transforms it. That's it. Always what I do.
Yes.
So I'm just using the sort of aspect. I don't know what would you call this. I just use it. You press Command and then drag the edge of the photo.
Yep.
And
someone was asking earlier, how do you get the perspectives? I believe that we're free transforming, just holding control.
Yeah.
And you can create that perspective. And yes, it is great for creating floors.
Yes. So we're going to use that, I think. But I want to blur the background a little bit because it's obviously going to be a bit out of focus because that's the background. I'm going to change the color, don't worry. It's not going to say gray.
Yep. And I'm actually going to check my files to see if there is a version of her that has more legs so that you can work with this. And then I can bring in the more legged version. I do think that the actual source image did. Oh, yeah, it cut off. It cut off there. So she has no legs.
Okay, yeah. So we'll work with that. I'm just playing here at this point.
Yes.
So I'm just going to blur. So I'll just duplicate that layer again. And I want to create like a little bit of blur in the foreground. Just to break it up a little bit. So I'm just going to blur, Gaussian blur, and then add a touch at the foreground. Then I'm going to mask this layer out because that's above the layer underneath it, which is exactly the same. So I'm just going to mask this little bit out just so it creates a bit of a blur. And then I actually might add a little bit in there.
And yes, transform perspective warp is another way to do that. Yes.
Yes, you can do that. So I'm going to just group those layers and we'll call it a room for now. So if we add in the fog, I think it needs to be darker again. Let's have a look. So that's what we had before.
Yep. I wonder if we could even just brush in fog over. I think there are some fog brushes.
There is potentially. Have I got some? But I actually do have smoke textures that I can put over the top.
Actually, okay. You could leave it, and I could do the idea that I have, but just do it on the bottom instead of the top. Okay. Yes.
So I'm just going to move the opacity of that down a little bit, so you can see we've sort of created a room now.
Yep.
She feels like she's in, but I am quite concerned about her legs because she is just floating at this point.
Yep. I'd say just put her in perspective where you think that she goes, and then I'll figure out that side.
Okay. This is good.
Yes, I'm excited. And somebody said, yes, you need stock of just tall go-go boots. That would be the ultimate way to hide it, is just like, and then it's just boots. There have
I
been
love
so many
that.
times that like something cuts off in a weird place and you're just like, oh, let's put text over that little edge or something. And you're like,
Yes,
let's just hide it a little bit.
just blur it out.
Yes.
Right. I think I'm going to change this color. So the fog is, let's put that over it. There we go. That's better. She's behind the fog.
Yes.
Um, but I want to change the color of the room. And I feel like I might go with, let's see. I want it a green.
And yes, Ted in chat is talking about daily creative challenges as well as our Discord. Yes, there are Discords for each of our daily creative challenges. They're great communities. You can get feedback, you can get help, and you can get some great guidance. Also, tune in to office hours on Friday. Every Friday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on Adobe Live. We help out people who are just learning and get your portfolios together. We're doing portfolio reviews this week, so if you want to submit yours, you can do that. But yeah, tune in and you can keep growing with us.
So I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm just going to play around with her legs because I feel like she could look slightly like she's in water. But, you know, you can play with however.
That is the ultimate like surrealist brain of like, okay, so there's a person standing, but what if in this concrete room she was actually in water? I love that thinking.
See, I like that. And now it actually kind of looks like the sea at the front.
It does. I think I have an idea on how to make it look more watery too.
Yeah, okay, I'll leave you to do that. But I feel like I just want to change the color of the background because although I like the green, I feel like it needs to be a bit darker there. That's better. Ooh, well, maybe blue. See, this is how indecisive I get. I just like go back and forth for days. I'm like, what color? This.
I'm definitely the same way.
For the purpose of this stream, I'm going to stick with like a greeny. We'll go this color because we're going pink and green at the moment.
Yep.
And purpley. So I think I'm going to leave it there.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm
just going to save this again.
2 ideas and now I have forgotten one. So I have 1 idea and I think that that's going to be just fine.
Okay. We'll just do another save. I'm going to close that. And that's over to you.
All right. Let's go ahead and again, it's syncing. I'm going to click and boom, it's open. What a joy. Oh,
where's the background?
It looks like it has it in the background. Hold on, let me close and come back. Syncing. Yeah, give it a second.
We'll give it a second because it might just be.
Yep. Let me triple check. Can you go ahead and open one more time and try to save that out?
On mine?
Yes.
Hang on. Is it?
See if we can sync that through. Oh, it is syncing from your side. That's what's happening. Okay, so.
Yeah.
The joys.
It was going so well.
So we're there. Yes. All right.
We're on.
Synced and backed up. We are syncing from your end. Yes. Okay, cool. So this is the perfect time to talk to you guys a little bit about what's coming up today on Adobe Live. Like I said, right after this particular stream, we will be going to a daily creative challenge. And the weird thing is I'm hosting it, but it is a me from the past. It is Andrew from yesteryear. And we are celebrating Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May. We are celebrating here on the 19th of May. It is a creative replay, but we'll be teaching you how to do some illustrations that are more stylized. We'll be doing mirror effects. We'll also be working with the pen tool. So you can stick around right after this for that stream. And then right after that stream, there's another that is packaging with Mariela Mesquita. And we'll be doing some packaging work over there. And yes, it is syncing that document. So
it's syncing.
It is updating on my side now. I do see the sync. And I think that as this file gets a little bit larger, you'll hear a lot more announcements coming from Andrew about awesome content that you can engage with here on Adobe Live. And it is syncing on my end now. So it is updating and it'll give us just a second here. Chat, how are we doing today? Also, Anna, let's ask you a question. So in your creative process, right, we do a lot of compositing, a lot of different pieces. Where do you find your inspiration? Is it seasonal for you? Is it something that like it depends on what's happening? How does that work?
So yeah, I feel like my work depends on my mood, what sort of what season it is. So usually my most creative seasons are like springtime and maybe like autumn time because I love those colors.
Yes.
But I do have like a bank of really like I suppose ideas that I've created during that process, and the time and the seasons that I can just like dip and dive back into. So yeah, I kind of just go with what I'm feeling at the time and just explore it. But then I do have ideas that I've had like from years ago that I'm like, I really want to shoot those now. And then they just come to fruition like once I put the effort in to actually do them. But I quite like spontaneity. Like I love to just create what I'm thinking and then go with it.
Yes.
So that's how I sort of work.
Same here. So if you guys saw on my screen, it did sync. I was actually going through the file because someone said, was it the texture that blew up the file? And I'm guessing that that's what it was, is that large texture?
Probably because it's so, yes, you might want to.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to
pull file.
Yeah, I'm going to pull the hue saturation just like up to the file above it, and change that over to color. So we still have that color in there. And then I'm just going to merge down this room layer.
Great idea.
Don't think we need it for anything. And then we still have the control over the color in the background. Okay, cool. So we have this, and here's what I wanted to do is I want to recontextualize this whole thing, and turn it into, like a magazine ad. Like it feels right for like a fashion ad. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do, like a torn paper effect on the top and bottom and put like spring collection or something on there. So we're going to try to do this without using any other stock stuff. I have a brush that I like to use to do that. So I'm actually just going to tear half of the disco ball, which I might end up moving down a little bit. But I've just created a new layer here at the top, and we're going to fill this with a little bit of an off-white. And then I'm going to add some noise here to get it looking a little bit like paper. Okay. And then we're going to blur that just a tiny bit so it's not as sharp. Anytime that I use noise, I always blur by 0.4 because it gives it just like a little bit of softness. I
love noise. Noise is like when I finish an image, I add noise and grain. I just love that.
Yes.
Love the textures.
Okay, so now how are we going to do this? So what I'm going to do now is you're not going
to merge the whole thing, are you?
No. It's going to look like this is torn away, but it's actually going to be sitting on top of everything. So I'm going to grab a brush here and use, there's a foliage brush. Let's look at a general brush. I just need like a kind of jaggedy. Okay, this one works.
Yeah.
So let's do this. And I'm going to kind of just draw to see what this brush looks like. So this is more of a pen.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and actually edit this brush and try to change some of the different things. So the size jitter, we're going to bring down. We're going to get that kind of hard edge really angled. Kind of get a little more of that texture zone. Noise, smoothing, dual brush. Let's do a lot of contrast there. And then maybe change that brightness to give it a little bit more. Okay, cool. So now what I like to do is I'll come in here and actually just mask out this shape with that brush. So I'm going to go along this edge here. I'm painting with white. That's why it's not working. There we go. And I will literally just like click on one side and then hold shift and come over to the other side. And it will almost tear that edge for me, right? So it's not looking as perfect as I want, but the reason that I had that little extra bit of what was I gonna say? The reason that I had a layer on top is I'll actually take and duplicate that, and then the lower layer I'll bring down just a little bit and maybe shift a tiny bit, but I'll change this to white. So the reason I went off white is because I'll take this to full white and it will give me that little bit of like that torn paper edge right there. And we'll probably shift this just a little bit so it's a little bit off. There we go. And it's given us a little bit more of that. And then I'll come up to this top one and maybe give it a little bit of an inner glow. Nope. Inner glow from the edge. There we go. And then do a little bit of black and then take that opacity down and give it a little bit of noise in there. There we go. So now we've got, it looks like that torn paper up top with that extra little white edge.
Yeah.
And this is where we start to get awesome. I'm
so
going to,
I love where it's going.
Right? I'm just going to type in spring here and kind of play around with some type. I think I do want this to go into this like hot purple.
Yeah.
And I want something that's like wide and squatty. So I'm gonna open up my type panel here. And then the great thing is I can use the filters here to do some kind of sans serif. And you know what? I'm gonna do the cardinal rule that you're not supposed to do. I'm gonna just stretch it like crazy. So we're gonna use Franklin Gothic here. And I am just going to hold shift and just stretch it to absolute destruction.
I see where you're going with that though. That really pops.
Right? It's crazy. And so I'm going to multiply this down actually so that I get that texture underneath.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to control click on this layer that I've made with the paper. And then also we'll mask it at the same time. So I'm going to mask it into that shape and then grab the little black shape that I have here and just brush away that same kind of blackness that I had. Let's select
you work
inverse.
So quick.
Oh yes, lots of hotkeys happening.
It's good for this.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth between B, which is just the brush, and I'm kind of just brushing away. I selected that rough edge, and this will allow that white to really shine through and make it look like it was printed on the gray, but torn off of the white. So now we can get that really nice torn edge, right?
I love that.
And we might change the blending mode there as well, but we'll leave it for now. And we're going to do the same thing at the bottom. And this is how I hide her legs.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to cheat this. Okay, we're going to group this and literally just...
We're allowed to cheat it. We've only got 2 hours. In fact, how long? We've got an hour left. So
we do have about an hour left. Yes. So I'm going to do here.
So we have to be quick. But look at where it's gone. Like, I mean, we're
100%.
Here.
Yes. So I'm going to maybe increase it a little bit right there. And it looks like we've caught...
Interesting.
Okay, her legs need to go a little bit higher, which is fine because I can just grab this group and bring it up so that we're hiding her legs. And the joy is that I can literally just grab these layers and just be like, boop. Fixed. And then here, I'm just going to delete this and do the same effect and do collection down here. Collection. Oh, this is, man, who would have thought that we were making a magazine cover today?
I know. Where did that go?
All right, there. And I am just an absolute sucker for stretchy type that's just absolutely raw.
All over them.
I love it. Yeah. All right, so now...
I never ever really use text in my work. So I suppose this is where... I don't know where I'm going to go with this next. This is the challenge.
And this is, I think, the fun of this show and this concept is that it really is two different styles because I love using type and texture in Photoshop. And I'm excited because I think that, I mean, I'd imagine that you would go back to... doing more compositing on the image. And it's just that collaboration of like, cool, this element would not have been there. And somehow now is there. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, that's dope. We need to play around with the composition a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and merge down these text layers just so they're shapes on their own. And then we will save that through. Huh. We got an unresolved conflict. Not sure what happened there, but here's what we're going to do.
Oh, am I? Maybe I'm open. Nope.
All right, cool. So here's what we're going to do is I am going to invite you, I believe, to this new document since we saved. Again, we're going on the fly here, everyone. So I'm going to invite you to this new document. Yes. And as we go, do you want to talk through kind of where you think that you're going to go next?
So I think if I just stop. So if I kind of want to add maybe more flowers, but then I'm feeling like it's getting there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I feel like it's definitely going to, and we have about an hour, so we can kind of finagle and work with other little pieces. Yeah. And if we go ahead.
No, I was going to, I might make some glowing points potentially. That's what I'm thinking.
Glow points sound like they could be fun.
Yeah. I think we can go, I think I can make it work.
Yeah, so here's what we're going to do. I'm pulling Audible and I'll try to work on it on my side. I'm actually going to send you this file right here because something wonky happened. So I'm going to send you this file. I'm first going to see how big it is to see if it's an absolute nightmare. Oh, it's not that much of a nightmare. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, cool. Save as cloud document. Got it. We are going to save this as a cloud document.
As a new one.
Yep. And it looks like it is syncing right now as well.
Okay. Let me have a look on my end. I can't open yet, but you'll have to invite me to it potentially.
Got that. Syncing to the cloud. Please try again later. All right, we're syncing. I do think that in theory, this file may be getting a little bit heavy. It doesn't look like anything's too crazy. The cloud, the joys of the cloud. Let's ask this. Holly, what is coming up for you? What's a project you're looking forward to? What's something that you're kind of in the zone of getting excited about whatever project's coming up? Do you have anything on the table?
Apart from my studio that we are renovating, that is one thing that I'm really excited about because at the moment I've sort of halted on creating any new art because I've got this sort of studio in mind and I can see all my ideas coming to life in there, but it's in the bare bones at the moment. So we're just trying to, every single spare moment I've got, we are renovating it. And if everyone wants to go and have a look at the studio that we renovated, I'm doing it with my partner, Jack. And it's called the Wonky Studio because it's an old outbuilding because we are at my parents' house at the moment. We're just sort of transitioning through houses at the moment. And they are kindly letting me renovate this studio space. But yeah, it is. We spent months doing the ceiling, trying to keep it watertight. We want to do it on a super tight budget because obviously COVID and everything, and just keeping it real. So we have been doing it all ourselves, and my granddad's been helping out, and he's been creating doors. We've had doors put in and all that jazz. If you want to go have a look, it's at the Wonky Studio. We're calling it the Wonky Studio because basically it is a wonky studio. It's on a slant.
So if you want to go, if you want to open up your Creative Cloud desktop, and if we want to flip over to my screen, I'll actually show you guys what's happening. So I created a new cloud document and I went into invite to collaborate. I shared it with you. And so if you go into the Creative Cloud desktop app, or you might have gotten an email asking you to accept for a new one, it will actually pop up in your Creative Cloud desktop app right here where it says notifications. And in the notifications, it will say, you've been invited to collaborate on a new document. And you just accept that. And then as you accept, then the cloud does its magic, syncs to all of the places in the world, and should open in your shared documents.
It's telling me that it's unable to open.
All right, so check this out. Let's hold right there for a second. Stay on that screen. And I'm about to invite you to another one. And it should open right there. Let's see here.
Let's have a look.
Given that I do have the right Creative Cloud email, it is the info one, correct?
No.
Oh, okay. Can you email me the email that is your Creative Cloud, and I will share it with that one?
1 second.
The joys of live production. Also, if you're just joining us, as you send me that, let's do a recap of what this show is. So if you're just tuning in, you've seen what we're doing right now, which is looking a little different from where we started. So hopping back, here are the original layers that we have. Is we had started out on a cloud document with just a few layers. If you want to throw up our original slide, we had 2 disco balls. We had the model there. We had some neon and some fog. We had this like weird like thing in the background. And so all those little details were pieces that kind of existed throughout, but nothing that was locked in. And now we finally hit a zone where it's locked in, and we're continuing to go through. And it's going to be wild. So if you're just joining us, Ping-Pong PSD, new show. We are collaborating live, as you can see, using cloud documents. We had a little bit of snag, but we're figuring it out because it's live production.
Fine. It's live production. Fine. We've only got 2 hours. But if anyone was to do this normally, they could, upload it through their fast internet.
Holly, can you drop the email in the chat, just in our Zoom chat, so that I can just grab that and copy it over?
I have just
Welcome to Adobe Live. All right, got it. All right, watch this.
Got it.
Watch this, everyone. Watch the magic that's about to happen. All right, so I'm going to open this document. I'm going to go ahead and drop in this share right here. And we're going to invite to edit. And that should pop up in literally a few seconds. If you click on that little bell, it should pop up on that window.
I apologize. We are... Oh, sorry.
The magic of cloud documents. Yeah. And as we get that going, I'll go ahead and I'm actually going to try to close this document 1.
We have it, I think.
We have it, yes. And so it should, if we flip over, it now is shared over. And in theory, Holly could actually go and comment on that, could do anything that she wants here. And it also should be available now in your Photoshop for you to go, or you can go in and go to your shared documents, and it should pop up there. So maybe let's go.
Is this the same one?
Yep.
Don't you think it is?
No, it should be.
No,
update.
That was the one.
Yep. So maybe click on cloud documents and then come back into shared with you and see if it refreshes that.
There we go. There we go. Yay!
We did it. We did it.
Oh, we're here.
We did it. The joys of live production. We are downloading that file and we will continue on. We have turned it into a kind of fashion ad. And then we're going to see where we take it. I think that we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more back and forths. And then we'll do a recap of kind of where we started and where we finished. And yes, nice to see you all in chat. We've got some familiar faces here. As always, if you have questions for our guest or for us, go ahead and ask those. A lot of people asking about the perspective tool and the free transform. Do you ever go in and use like the technical like grids and all that stuff? Or are you very much just like free transform it and figure it out?
Depends what I want to transform. So let's say I've got I don't know, out of top of my head, like a deer in a field, and I need its leg position to be a bit different. I will warp it a little bit. But other than that, I think I'm mainly a perspective. Yeah, just command on the keyboard and then just drag the edges. Yep. It's just the easiest way of doing it. But we're in. Woo-hoo!
We're in. We did it. High five, everyone. Good job, chat. We did it. Okay, cool. So continuing on, where are you going to take this new Creative Cloud file?
So I am thinking she's slightly separate to the background, if that makes sense. I know it's kind of like a surreal image at this point, but I feel like we need a bit more depth to that. So I'm going to add a bit of shadow on the background, just to make it look like there's a light. Obviously, the light is coming from whichever way you're seeing this, the right-hand side for me. And I feel like the light needs to change well, not change direction, but add the shadow to where the light in her body is sort of obscuring it. So we're going to go in with that. So I'm just going to add a new layer underneath here. And I really, to add shadow, I basically just use the brush tool on a really soft brush.
Yep. And that's such a cheat for compositing, is it's really all about just shadows and highlights, that if you can go in with that soft brush and it makes everything look like it is all in the same place.
Yeah, so I'm just going to add a little bit. So the light is obviously coming from this way. I want that to go underneath the flowers as well. So we need to figure out where the flowers are. There we are.
I wouldn't even think about that it would affect the fog technically that's behind her.
Yeah, so I might actually change that in a minute, but we'll see. So,
and Fairy says, I want to do this with someone. It would be pretty fun to do. And so does Christine. Well, you guys hop into Discord, get connected, and do it. You can go ahead and just make something. It'd be super fun.
I feel like I'm going to ask all my creative mates to do this with me.
It's fun. I'm very excited to see the before and after of like as we built, how things changed.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go too overboard with this because I feel like it stands out. But, just that little bit of extra shadow there just makes it feel like a bit more like she's there.
Yep.
But I might add, so I don't want to like do too much to it because I feel like it's already quite a nice stage. But I do really think she needs a bit more shadow on this side. This is the compositor in me. So I'm going to go for, if I attach... They're trying to figure out where the layers are. So the flowers are down there. So I need to just add on top here.
And yes, Dorina said something in chat, which I'm not going to tell you, Holly, but I think that's where I'm going next, Dorina.
I can't see.
I can't give it away.
Oh, that's so straight. I'm going to go back and have a look. You'll not forget it then.
No, I hope not. I hope not. There was one thing that I wanted to do earlier that I completely forgot what it was.
Have you remembered
I guess
now?
It wasn't that good of an idea. Oh, no.
Okay.
No, it's gone. It's gone forever.
It's gone. Okay, I'm going to add a new layer and just get black again. I think I'm going to go... In fact, I might just pick up a dark green in the background and just go a little bit darker.
Which is the ultimate hack. If you're wanting to balance things, just grab a color that's already existing somewhere in the composition.
Yeah. So this, I mean, you can see already, it feels like it's sort of hovering in front of there.
Oh yeah, it has a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit darker on that green.
Oh. Man, chat's got some good ideas today. Good job,
Tell
chat.
me.
Someone mentioned, and I don't think this is where I'm going to go. Someone mentioned the neon shapes coming back in, and I don't know if those are going to happen.
Do we have them?
We'll see. They're somewhere, yeah. And I can hold on. They're like already there. Okay.
Yeah, I left.
I'm going to do that, and I'll mask them. I think I'm going to mask them around some of those flowers, maybe. Yeah. So we just get like, and that will give us some really good dimension on the flowers. I'll draw in a little shadow. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I know where we're going now.
So where are the flowers now? There. Okay, we've got that, and then that's the neon. So I'm just going to group those together. Flowers and neon.
Yes. And someone said, weren't you thinking of making the floor rippling water? Yes, that was the other idea that I left.
That was the idea.
And we don't need to now because I covered it because I tore it away.
So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to go really dark with the brightness just for a moment. Command and I, invert the layer to black, and then add in some white just here. And actually, this is where the clipping mask comes in. So create clipping mask above the whole of the flowers, including the neon, although I might bring the neon out in a minute.
Huh. Okay.
I just want to add a bit of depth. That is a little bit dark for me. I might put that extra bit on top. Oops.
Do you ever do sound effects? Okay, you literally answered my question as I was asking it. I was gonna say, do you ever do sound effects as you work? Yeah. And as you're like, ooh. I do the same thing.
That is me all over.
I definitely will, like, when I'm brushing stuff, be like, shoo, shoo, shoo. Like I always just sound effect as I draw.
Okay, the other thing that I actually wanted to do was to potentially make it glow. I said that earlier, and I've just remembered that's what I wanted to do. So I'm going to pick up the green, go a little bit lighter with it, and then I'm going to add a big. Oh, it's because we're on. Hang on. I'm going to go.
Oh.
I just want to make that like it's like the. Oh, actually, we could do with some light effects. Oh, I think we need some bouncing off light off the disco ball.
You're right.
But I'd have to get the stock images. So maybe that goes on top. We're just going to play with the blend mode of that.
Yep.
It's not doing too much for me. I feel like I'm just going to delete that. I feel like the shadows are where it's at. Yes. I also feel like it needs just a slight bit of brightness in the foreground. So I'm going to just I go way over the top with the curves. This is how I do it. And then Command and invert, go over again with the brush tool and just add in some of because we've got a light from this way.
Yep. So again, we're talking about, different ways to do things. I do the lighting like this completely different way, but this is probably a more right way. So what I do is I'll make a 50% gray layer above, and then do the dodge and burn and just change the blending mode to overlap.
So I do have a action here that actually does that. Yep. The 50% layer. So every time, but that's what I would use for retouching faces mainly, because I feel like you've got more control with it. But for light, I feel like this, you can play around with, you can just send it wild, basically.
Yep. And that's something, and we're trying to work in a zone that's called a non-destructive workflow. A non-destructive workflow basically means that you're able to go back to the original and you're just augmenting things that are there. We have been destructive in this process a few times, but non-destructive workflow is, instead of deleting the image on the top and bottom, we put those torn papers on top and then put a shadow on it. And so anything you can do to preserve all the different pieces is non-destructive.
Exactly. That's why your file ends up being so many layers and so big.
Yes.
But if in this case, I feel like we might need to, I don't think I can actually put any layers down, merge any layers down at this point, but I feel like I want to throw it back to you because I want to see where you go with
if you want to save and let that start syncing.
I didn't actually do that much then, apart from putting the little bit of shadow,
which is important. Well, you gave it dimension. I would not have done that. So we needed the dimension to give it context, which is very important. So I love that. And I think that I maybe am going to continue on that. I don't think there are many other elements that I want to add. I think that I just want to play around with trying to get some of the pieces a little more locked in with lighting and color and shadow. So I'm going to keep playing around with those and see what I can kind of pull apart from there.
At this point, if it was me, I would probably take it into Lightroom and color grade it, and then I'd bring it back and I overlay the file on, and I just to see where I would take it, because like I said earlier, I had a lot of grain. I would probably change the colors slightly, but that's just me.
Yep.
So I'm going to give it back to you.
Cool. So, and we are updated here. It was updated 34 seconds ago. And we have it. Boom. Done. All right.
There you go. Quick.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to color grade a little bit. And I'm going to just play around with her face and kind of her body and skin tone. And what I want to do is come down here, and I'm going to make a new layer and just clip it down to like her, and then just try to brush in some of these colors and see what happens. So from my understanding, there's maybe some green coming from here, and then maybe a little bit of purple light coming from the other side. And so I'm actually going to grab off of this tile of the mirror tile, which I didn't think about this, but like a disco ball is the perfect way to get a color scheme because you get every like value and hue.
And it's a little square.
I'm going to get a super soft brush, make it super big, and then kind of just paint over. And it does look crazy here, but I'm going to change blending modes. I'm going to grab a little bit of this purple and kind of bring a little bit over there. And then we're going to change this and kind of just scroll through. And the great thing about blending modes is it does them in real time.
As you scroll, yeah.
Exactly. So we can kind of
this is a lifesaver. I love that.
Some of these and maybe just get, I'm definitely going to take the opacity down because it's hitting pretty hard. Do
you have like a go-to blending mode?
I mean, I multiply like everything all the time.
Multiply everything. I'm like overlay or screen or soft light, depending on what I'm working with. But I do like color as well because that just creates the.
Yep. So I actually like the tones that are happening here.
Oh, okay.
I think I need more green in her face, but I think that the shadows of her hair are exactly where I want them to be.
Okay, yeah.
And so we've got that little part down, and then I think I'm maybe just going to like erase and brush out some of what's happening in the actual face, and then do another layer here. Actually, let's do this. Okay, so this is my like secret for doing color toning is I will make a gradient map. So go here, go to gradient map, and then pick out whatever colors I want.
Ooh,
so I think that I want more of that green. So I'll pull it to a pretty light version of whatever that is. So we just have the shadows in that green, and then maybe the highlights we want actually in, right, a little bit of that green. And then maybe we want to incorporate more of this purple into the shadows. So we can kind of put that purple in the shadows. And what this does is if you think about it, it's just going to take these values and I multiply this down, and it's going to change all those values to be a little more in line. So it pulled the brightness down a little too much, but you can see that it pulls, especially here in her face, you can see even the eyes and some of those highlights pull in those colors a little bit more. We also can maybe play around with this being like a soft light or an overlay.
I like the multiply.
I like the multiply too. Oh, that gets like really dark and scary.
I feel like the highlights on her face.
Yep.
Like pick up the green and it just looks really nice.
And then I think maybe if I just play with your curves a little bit more since they were changed out. I have to really pull that. And I may do one more. It's the opacity.
Quite low. Yeah.
Yep. Here we go. And maybe we just need a brightness on here, a little brightness contrast. Put a little bit of contrast, a little bit of brightness. There we go.
I like this.
That's feeling a little bit better. So now what I want to do is we've got about a few minutes left. I'm just going to mask out some of the flowers here, but then I'm also going to draw on, let's see, it would have to be below the neon, some shadows. Oh, you know what I could do?
What?
I don't want to do that. I just want to draw them on. I was going to make a copy and then move it and then blur them.
Yeah.
But that is just going to be too much. So I'm just going to draw on these shadows. And again, super, super light brush. No, I do need to do that. So let's do this. Let's grab. Where's our shape? There it is. So this is going to grab that nice kind of neon shape. And what I can do is just move this selection a little bit. And I'm going to be able to draw this in on that new layer, just in black. And this is going to be a shadow line. And then I'm going to pull this and delete a certain portion of it, or just erase kind of in there the extra. And then we'll blur this out. Gaussian blur. And blur this out quite a bit. And that's going to give us a nice little line shadow that I can pull down and add, and I'm going to clip it just right to her. So where is her?
She's there.
Body? Right there. All right. So we're going to clip that into just her body. And now you can see we have that nice little shadow that's happening that is just on her. And it gives that a little more dimension. And I think that I'm actually going to put some of it on the flowers as well.
Yeah.
But I think I want to mask out our flowers layer. Also, if you guys don't know this, there is a way to search your layers, and I don't know how to do it off the top of my
I'm
head.
not sure either.
But there is a way.
My layers don't end up being this. I mean, at the moment they're a bit all over the place, but I feel like mine are just like layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4.
Yep. All right, let's find...
Until the end.
Oh, the flowers. Here we go. So there are the flowers. Let's go ahead and just select...
Yeah, we could do tidying them up a little bit. I'm
trying to find that side one because I want it to just go like on an edge of one of them. And I think it's that one. So I'm just going to grab that and then come back to our neon. Our neon line, which I believe this is the pink one. There we go. Yeah. And I'm just going to mask it so that it goes behind there a little bit. What's the best way to do this? Select inverse.
We're putting it on the flower, aren't we?
Oh, my brain's exploding right now.
It needs it to invert on that.
It does need to invert. You know what? Let's do this. Since we're at the end, we literally have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Merge it down. Right? Secrets.
Oh, it's gone in front of the face.
Yep. Okay. Got it. Got it. And then let's grab flower real quick. Where'd you go? There you go. Flower. This is so not worth it for the little amount of detail that this is going to add. Maybe it's worth it. Oh, I have no idea how time works. And so we have plenty of time.
We've got longer. We've got
plenty
40
of time.
minutes.
Oh, you know what? What am I doing? I can literally just move this. I think below. Oh no, that will move it beneath her. Okay, maybe we'll just continue with the shadows and not worry about that. Let's add one more shadow on this green. And then play around with one more idea. Green neon. There we go. So that's the glow on the green neon, and there's the actual line.
That's
so let's grab that. Brush in.
I like how you use the eraser tool because I never actually use it.
Oh yeah, I definitely will use eraser for like
things that you know that
specific.
Yeah.
Oh, which it is.
Even then, I get scared and just use curve layer mask.
All right, so let's filter, let's blur, let's Gaussian blur that. Oh, I painted it on the layer. I painted it on the layer. That is the ultimate. Oh no.
Back up.
Right? Yeah. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Oh, I clicked so many times to erase this too. All right. We're going to keep erasing here. Whew. The joys of process. All right. There we go. Let's go ahead and make one more layer. There we go. And just brush this in.
The importance of checking the layers. I've done that many a time though.
Oh yeah.
And you've got too far where you can't even go back in history.
And yes, those people asking, tomorrow is another day, but we will have a new artist. We will be doing the same file and we'll be going to a completely different zone, which is exciting to see what happens. All right, so now we've got a nice layer for the green. We'll mask that into her body right here. And there we go. Now we've got a couple more shadows.
There we go.
So I've done some color toning, done some shadows. I want something in the corners here, but I don't know what. You know what? I'm going to add more flowers, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking this. Oh,
sweet. All of our flowers are grouped too. So I can literally just come in here and I'm just going to pull this group and kind of just rotate and play around with having some more in some of these areas. Maybe do like a nice little each piece. And I'm actually going to merge this one down just because we don't need much more of it. And I wonder if I kind of just put...
Oh, we've got... One of them's got a bit... Oh, it's fine. It's out of shot now.
Get a little bit more...
I like that
flowery goodness. Yeah, I think it adds a little bit extra to it. This one feels a little bit too much in this corner.
Yeah.
Down here. And then I'm just going to merge all these down. And then delete. Again, we're doing some file cleanup real quick. Those are the other flowers. So I'm going to name these center flowers. And I'm going to start that save and then just look to see if there's anything else that we can clean up. We got really deep into some of these layers.
Yeah.
And really crazy. I think, okay, cool. All right. I think that's where I want to go with it. It's syncing. Do you have any ideas? So we have about a half hour left. Any ideas for what you want to add next, where you want to take it? We've been kind of dancing around a little bit and it's starting to come together. What's like the finishing touch in your brain?
I feel like the letters need some flowers in them.
I love that.
Do you know what I mean? It feels like that's gone separate now.
Yep. And I love
need to come back.
Yeah, I love the idea of that collaboration of like, I was not thinking about the letters at all. I was like, okay, cool. What are we going to add to the composition? And then literally it's just like, cool. Well, it's time for letters now. All right. So it should be syncing for you through the cloud in a million tiny pieces. It is synced for me. So it is probably on its way syncing for you.
Yeah.
We do have a couple more minutes here. And yes, if you're just joining us, it's not just me working and hosting with like another person here. We are going back and forth doing a new show called PS Ping-Pong. And it is a show that is all about collaboration. We're going back and forth and collaborating to see what we can create. And someone's saying, is the fog too much? That is a good question. The fog does feel like a lot. So we're loading here. It looks like it's downloading on Holly's side. So we're gonna give it a second to download as we do all those. What's your take on the fog?
I think I'm gonna have a look what it looks like, but I feel like the floor might end up being too harsh against her. I don't know. We need to have a look at it. But I feel like I like fog. I use fog in quite a lot of my images anyway. So
it's a great way to hide things.
Each their own.
We saw this a little bit before. Do you have assets that you use again and again and again, like in everything? Like if I went through your Instagram, could I find pieces that I'm like,
you probably could. Yeah. A lot of the time I use fire, and I actually sometimes just drag and drop the fire that I've already used in another image over to the new one and try and make it look a bit different. But still, I use a lot of fire, a lot of smoke, and obviously the flowers. I tend to quite like to use the stock images that I've taken. So all the flowers are out of the garden, or ones that I've bought and I've taken photos of. So you could probably find different flowers in different images that are actually the same.
Yep. And if we want to flip over to my screen, we had talked a little bit about the idea of copying texture. And so I want to show you all, I promised I'd show how I do that. That if you have a texture, right? So this is something I scanned in last night. I was playing around with trying to get some of these kind of cool textures. So let's say that we need more texture. We need bigger texture. What we can do is I just love to grab the clone stamp tool, which is just S, or you can come over here to clone stamp. And if I need to extend it, I will set the stamp by holding Alt or Option, and I'll click somewhere in that file, somewhere in that texture, and then just start to extend it. And so you can really easily extend texture out and just grab different pieces. And if you have a texture that feels like it's too much, or it's not, you need extra, or there's a piece that you don't like, it's super easy to come in here. And maybe I want to add, like a pop in the middle of something lighter. I can come in here and just start to add in some of that extra texture, and then just soften that brush and kind of brush out those edges. And you can start to get some really nice texture by just using the clone stamp tool. And then you have eternal amounts of texture. So that's the way to do it with clone stamping. And it looks like you are synced. You are ready to go. Yeah, let's hop in and continue on here.
Go. Okay. So we said about putting in some flowers for the text. So here, where are we all? So I think we need, they're the center flowers. So I'm just going to duplicate this layer and merge the group. And then I'm going to put it on top. completely.
This
Also,
is the ultimate collaboration of what we said of the Hollyhock, that it's torn paper, giant
it is,
type, which is so
yeah.
me, and then flowers, which is so you.
Flowers
Like
is so me, yeah.
it is the perfect collaboration of our two styles.
And usually I wouldn't go this bright with colors, but I've quite enjoyed using really bright colors recently. So,
Yep.
Ooh.
Ooh, and chat, remind me to show you how to get rid of those little like 1 pixel edges. I was working the other day and figured out a way to do it. So remind me when I come back up how to get rid of those very easily.
So I quite like
it's gonna be so good. Oh, I just got so excited.
Okay, I'm trying to work out. I actually need all the flowers separately, I think. Oh, let me start that again. So, actually, this is not going to work, is it? Because we've got the flowers, the neon's different. So let's just go with that. Let's go. Merge.
And I think you could do without the neon up on the type. I mean, it might have.
Shall we try that?
Yeah, why not? I think it would be nice to have the flowers separately.
Okay.
And again, if we would have been thinking ahead, we would have done the neon separate on each of those flowers.
Yeah.
But because we're on the fly, sometimes you have to go back and you just have to make it work. And that's the thing, as long as your image is working at the end, that's all that matters.
So I don't know. I quite liked the neon. No, I did actually like the neon. Right. Okay. We'll give it one more go and then I'm going to see. So merge that layer and then put it to the top. And
yeah, maybe it's just a lot of maybe it's just a lot of scale, that maybe there's smaller flowers up there or something you can kind of play around with.
Yeah. So see, I would do that, but then I'd probably add a couple more. Let me just zoom in. I'd probably add a couple more around here.
And I'll bet that you could fake it pretty well and just like erase pieces.
Yeah. Let me have a look, actually.
I love that our creative process right now is like, how wrong could we do this and still get away with it?
Yeah. No one's going to want to zoom into this file ever.
Oh, here's the thing. This is going on social media and like, don't zoom, anyone. Just don't zoom. No, just appreciate it for what it is and don't zoom.
Oh, see, imagine that is the... No.
Oh, you could mask it into that letter pretty easily by just doing a selection.
Yeah, I just don't know how much I want. That's the thing at this point.
It could be cool to almost have them coming out and then add some shadow so it looks like the flowers are like coming out from behind. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to leave that there for a second. I'm going to take some down here.
And Carol, yes, we are. The fog is a hot topic right now in chat.
Okay, right.
I may come back to it when it comes to me if you want to continue on those flowers. But yeah.
But let me just see what it's going to look like just so whilst we're here. What does everyone think? I can't see, so you're going to have to update me. But
I'm not mad about it, but I don't love it. But maybe we could, I'll play with it and see if we can get it to a different, because I think maybe doing some color toning on something on it could work, or it could die. We'll see where that lands. And yes, it was one of the original pieces. So far, we have kept, I think, all the original pieces.
All of the original pieces, yeah. Which I actually didn't think you would, to be honest, when I first
0%. 0% did I think that we were going to maintain what we started with all the neons and stuff. And it's totally happened that like it kind of works. I'll think about the fog as you keep working.
I need separate flowers, I've decided. See, back and forth, but we'll get there. So I'm just going to take this one. Because I feel like we're going to have more control with the flowers.
So that was a very aggressive sneeze. I have like an emergency mute button on my mic, and y'all are lucky because that was a very aggressive sneeze.
I got like the last bit of it.
Yep.
See. Don't know where to go. Maybe I'll put that. I think if I had a lot
up there.
If I had a lot more time, I think I would put flowers like all around the letters. So like Let's just do a mask.
Mm.
I'm gonna go on here.
Oh, and just fill the letters with flowers instead of...
Yeah, or the other way around on the outside. Maybe. But I think we need a bigger one there.
You could use that cluster and then just repeat it to create like a wallpaper in that background, and then maybe change the letters to white even.
Yeah, see that, I think that's what's putting me off actually, the color of the letters. It like we're going a bit.
Yeah, how much control did I leave you on the color of the type? I think almost none.
I think none. Oh, let's just take
the
that
whole
off.
thing. Oh, I merged it all the way down. That's why you don't work in a non-destructive workflow, y'all. So we in theory could make that work, but it definitely would be really rough.
If this was me right now, actually, I would take the text off.
Do it. Let's do it. Kill it. It's your turn. It's 100% your turn. Do it.
Okay.
Oh, it's a move.
Just for now. You can always go back. I'm going to leave it there.
Man,
I'm going to give you...
We were in a lull of like, oh, we're doing shadows and lighting. And then Holly comes out of nowhere with like, let's blow it up.
I'm having it. I'm going to separate that. And we're going to move it up here.
Here we go, chat.
I just needed to. The text was getting in my way.
Yep. Ooh,
So
this is getting fun. Spicy.
We've destroyed this layer a little bit. So, oh, no, not too big. Do
you do the thing where like you're looking at your screen and then you move your head back like 5 inches to like see it? Yeah, you're just like, yeah, that's good. I just need to see it from far away.
I actually sometimes like look away for a little bit and then I just like come back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I needed. Or I'll just like completely walk away. Like we have quite a nice garden here, so I just walk to the end of the garden and back, and then and then it transforms.
Yep. And Fergie says it's so nice without the text. All right, we found the zone. I'm glad we hit it.
We hit it. I like the text. I just feel like, let me just add it back in just to see what it was like.
I actually have an idea.
It just feels like it restricts it a little bit, but then
it's too much. Yeah, I have an idea for text that I'll go to after on the next round. And I think that we probably have time for 1 or 2 more rounds.
Do you know what?
So we have a little
Shall we
bit of time.
go to you? Because I feel like I've just completely transformed this and I don't know what else to do on it. And I feel like
I'm down. Yeah. Hit that save.
Okay.
And I think what I'm going to do is I still want to explore the idea of it being an ad, because I think the ad is interesting.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to try something else and see what happens.
See, I think I would take the whole thing off like that, but then
do it. Yeah,
I would just go there.
Yeah, do it, and then I'll give it a shot and see. Again. And I actually think I know. I think the flowers are going to come back. I think that now I have a vibe for how you go. Yeah, and so I think they're coming back in a different capacity. So let's see here. We'll sync. We'll go. Is it already synced 27 seconds ago? Yeah, it's syncing right now. I think I know where I want to go.
I'm excited.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to continue to do the ad, but we're going full like magazine cover. Because I have a feel that I want type on it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
I didn't disagree with the type. I think it was just
too much.
Bold.
Yes.
But then it was only because we liked it until this point, and then now. But this is the case with like every piece that I do. You get to a point and then you're like, you know what, just strip it back and start again or do something different. But I really liked the way that you created the stretched text.
Yes. Let's use Dunbar. Oh no. Oh man, I just had a font. Let's use Obviously. Why not? Let's not use Obviously. Let's use... I had a font that I was playing with the other day that was just so perfect for this, and it is not in my regulars. Cool. Let's do some nice thick type for here.
Bloom. I like that word.
Right? and just dropping it like right
That's
behind.
cool.
Right? I think that this could be
Yeah,
really
I like
cool.
that.
And then I'm going to add in like a little secondary
Ooh,
that says like magazine. And then that way we can have a little bit of that. The gradient map. What do I need to do? I need to mask the disco ball.
yeah.
Where's
But then
the
the
actual disco ball?
shadows.
There we go. All right, this disco ball is just going to get merged down. I don't know why.
It's gone now, hasn't it?
That's a
We've
thing.
moved
I
on from
think,
that.
well, there's so many layers here augmenting it. Oh yeah, literally changed nothing. Okay, cool. Okay, so I want this. And if you want to, you can actually click on this little link that's right here to unlink the layers. And so the mask will stay where it is. And then the text you can click on and augment, and it will keep this mask. So I want to get the other O in there a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stretch it to kind of hit here.
Oh.
Maybe too much being that big. Oh, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's put it where it was because I actually really liked it here. And then since there's no rules, let's go ahead and just move the disco ball.
Oh, don't forget we've got
How
the
much is that going
shadows.
to mess things up?
Shadows.
Oh, that's going to mess a lot of stuff up. All right, let's not move the disco ball. So we're going to do bloom.
Although I've just realized that the O is not in the shadow. So I don't know if that makes
we'll add it. We'll add it. We'll add it. And then I'm going to do magazine here and just put that down in the corner. So now we've got a little bit more of that kind of locked in. And then let's do some more text, right? That goes maybe down here. And let's do spring line. What's it called? Spring collection lookbook. That's what it's called. A lookbook. And we'll put that text right here in the center. And then just track it way out. And that way we've got a little bit of like magazine-ness to it.
I do really like it.
Yes, it's definitely going somewhere. Okay, let's see if we can get that shadow back in there.
And it is probably down below her.
Yes, I'm gonna paint it in.
I'm
gonna merge down these layers and I'm just gonna paint it in. Here, there. And as I do that, I'm gonna hit save, and then I'm going to.
I don't even know if it will look.
What do I want to do? Let's turn the opacity down a little bit. A little bit of that, and then grab my eraser and just turn the flow down. And grabbing the eraser and flow, you can really just come over here and it will very softly give you that shadow, and you can really fine tune it. All right, I think that's giving it some fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to save that out, and then I'm going to kick back to you for, I think maybe we have one or two left.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. I love the idea that we've landed on of it like saying bloom. I think that that's a really fun like magazine color, and it goes just with everything really well. And we're synced on my end. It's floating in a million tiny pieces above our heads, and it's downloading on your end. I think we have a couple things left. Let's go ahead and review chat. It's funny because when I go in the zone, I'm usually so good about watching chat as I work. And the stress of this show is like, oh my God, you just gotta go.
Tell me what's happening over there.
Yes, I will catch up. You go ahead and hop in. I'm gonna catch up on chat. Hi, chat. Hey, friends. I'm gonna go ahead and start reading your stuff again.
So I really like where we've gone with this. I do think that shadow there, just for me, it just needs to come up. Oop, not that much. Soft brush. I feel like it just needs to come off there a little bit.
Yep.
Just for my personal preference. But then I think her face is slightly too contrasty. I feel like we need to just take off.
There is a contrast layer somewhere in there.
Oh,
which I have no idea where it is.
Gradient map. Nope. That's not it.
Brightness contrast right there. Sorry, I pointed right above your curves layer. Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yep.
See, I'm just going to take a little bit off her face by just putting the opacity down with a soft brush. Just adding that in a bit because I feel like it's just a little bit too harsh. I think it might be the actual file that's a little bit too small, so the pixels are a little bit all over the place.
And yes, chat, how many of you have actually been to a disco? And I'm not talking about like a nightclub, like an actual disco, like back in the day when it was full on like bell bottoms. I'm very curious to see if there's anyone here that was full disco zone.
We should have had a 70s outfit here.
We should. That's what I need for this show because it's so unexpected. I need to just have my closet open because I have so many costumes in there from different things that we've done on stream and just be like ready to go wherever we end up.
Oh, look at that. I'm not going to keep it like this.
Oh, it's interesting.
But it's so vintage then.
It is.
But I like to add a bit of contrast without like really like overtaking like too many pixels by doing a black and white layer, and then I put overlay, and then I just turn the opacity right down, and it just adds that tiny little bit. You probably won't even be able to see it on the stream. It
definitely does have that like little bit of an edge that gives it that HDR kind of look.
That's it. So I'm going to leave that there. I wanted to add a bit of shine onto this bit because obviously we've got her face, which is quite bright. So I feel like
I agree.
Some highlights on the disco ball would be good. So the way that I would do this is to go on brightness and contrast and add as much brightness.
And yes, Chad is talking a lot about disco now and how it should have lasted forever. I agree. I'm ready for disco to make a full-on comeback.
I would definitely. I love all that kind of stuff.
Yes. And you're doing the brightness adjustment layer here, right?
Yeah, so it's a brightness adjustment layer. I usually start with that, and then I will do a layers mask. A levels adjustment layer with a layer mask. And I usually pull this bit up here. It's going to destroy this layer because it's not.
Yeah, at this point, we've got a couple minutes left, so we can destroy as many layers as we want. And the cool thing about this is I believe this is true. I'm going to say these words, and I believe this is true, that it saves version history. So we can look back at version history and see the changes that we've made as we go. I will confirm that that's an actual real thing, but I believe that is the case. And you can go in and comment on each one. You can share it to a client. They can add their comments. They can actually add pins
that's cool.
On the document as well to say like, hey, brighten the face a little bit. Like this neon feels off. It's really great. Like, again, this show's all about highlighting collaboration. And yes, it's great to collaborate with another creative, but sometimes if you're collaborating with a client, it can be a completely different story. And sometimes collaborating with a client, it's super easy to use these share functions.
I'm just testing this. This is something that I like to do, just play with the blend modes. But I feel like the fog looks, it feels like it needs a bit of brightness as well. So I'm going to go on the same levels layer for the sake of this and just add in.
Yep. And yes, someone's saying the GIF at the end of this is going to be all over the place. Yes, it's
I know, because it's going to start like this size and then it's going like this.
Yep. I'm also very excited to see where we go tomorrow. Like, it's going to be completely different. Yeah, so we have another guest coming on tomorrow. Our friend Anna is coming on tomorrow. And if you want to tune in for that exact same time, exact same place, we'll be working with the exact same file, except it will be completely different is kind of the thing here. We'll see where we go. Two completely different styles. I think Anna's style is very different from yours. So it's going to be a grand old time.
So I'm just testing this at this point because of where we've gone with it. But I would usually pull down some greens. Is this working?
Whoa, wait, how did you just do that?
So I do it by, so open the hue and saturation adjustment layer.
Okay.
And then you pick up this little finger with the arrows next to it, and you can sample any color. So let's say I want the pink to desaturate. I just do that. You pull. Or you can go the opposite way and go Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
He's falling down his chair.
I've tried to select and like find the like being able to
Colors.
sample a color and then pull that color.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is so helpful.
Good. It's so good for when you're doing like, let's say I'm doing like a landscape and I want the greens to be less, but I don't know which kind of green I want to pull down yet. So I always just go into like the let's say the mountains, whatever, and just pick a green and then pull it down, and it just always transforms the background, I think. But in this case, because we're not in nature or anything like that, it might not work as well, and we want to keep the colors like that.
That is
Poppy.
so wild, because that's the problem I always have is like I want to grab the reds, but not all of the reds. That all I can of the reds, yeah.
So it will sample. So let's say I sample this green, but then I want to get rid of that green as well. It will, only sample that color, and then it will stay on that layer. So I can then move that color around. And if I want to just colorize that, it colorizes the whole thing actually at that point.
This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. But I actually don't want to use that because I want to keep the greens. But there you go, another tip for coloring. And I've taught you something. I
have learned. We've got about like 3 or 4 minutes left, and so if we want to kind of fix up the little pieces, I'm actually going to try something once you're done.
Do you want me to send it back? Let's do it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk. I
feel like I didn't do anything then either, but
we changed lighting and stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and you can go ahead and close that, and I'm going to try to open this in the Creative Cloud Creative Cloud on my computer. And kind of show the different features that we can do here. And so if we want to flip over, there we go. What's cool is I can come in here and let's say that I wanted to make a note, right? That I wanted to place a pin and just say, hey, like, let's work on the lighting on her face. Face lighting. We can hit submit, and that will send a note, and it will go right here. We'll send a note over to you. You actually will get a notification on your Behance, and then you also get an email that says, hey, there's more on here. Now, I believe, we can also look at the timeline, and these are all of the different changes that we've made in all of the different versions. So let me click through and see if these will pull up. I believe that I will have to download them and they would pull up as different versions. And we did go back and forth on different files. So it did get a little bit wonky, but we will be posting a GIF of all of the different pieces there. And then if I wanted to, I could very easily go back here and check out, and I could just make a general comment. I can invite to edit, so I can invite someone else to edit this. And I also can get a link to share publicly. If I wanted to send this to a client, I simply click on get link, and it's going to share the link. It's going to load the link, and then I can allow commenting. I can allow them to sync it to their Creative Cloud and just send over this link instead of sending over the file, right? So we don't have to download anything, don't have to go back and forth. We can just share and collaborate in real time, which is crazy. So
love it.
With that, let's go ahead and throw up the original image that we started out with. I know, it's going to be wild. This is where we started originally. We had those 2 giant disco balls, which I love. That's the first thing we did. We're like, no.
Yeah. No.
I think that we kept pretty much all of the elements and just added onto them.
Yeah.
And so the things that I love about, actually, what are your favorite parts of where we landed?
I would say, I love the flowers, but I also have just realized that I quite like the disco ball and the way it's like just directly above her head, and it just feels like it sits really nicely there. It's quite like satisfying. Plus, when I first saw the first file, I actually thought that the crop, I don't know if we can go back to it, but the crop of the disco ball was off the top.
Yep.
And I thought that I'd have to add that back in. So I'm quite happy that we didn't do that. We didn't have to do that because it was already there.
That would have been a nightmare. Yes. That would have been an absolute nightmare.
I think I know people are a bit against the smoke potentially, but I really like it. I like the smoke. I feel like it gives the, dance floor vibes and.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting.
What about you?
I think it's interesting how we hid her legs. And I think that's my favorite thing is that we knew it was cut off, but it doesn't feel off. And I think my favorite transformation is what you did with the background, because it was this weird kind of like it was just an ethereal warehouse.
Yeah.
And we turned it into this girl that's like solo on the dance floor. There's an actual room that she's in, like she's having a good
Yeah.
time, she's partying. I think that it's really interesting the way that it turned out. And then I love the flowers. I think if I had actually, let's ask you this question. If you had another
Yes.
hour, what would be the things that you added?
That is really difficult because I really like this where we've gone with it. It's totally different to what I think I would have come up with from that start file on my own. I think I would have gone totally different. But I feel like the fact that we've gone back and forth, I feel like we've created something really good. So I don't know if I would add in or take away anything. Maybe I would take away the neon triangles, but then I like the way it looks now, so I'm not sure. It's really hard to say.
I think that I agree. I like the text up there. I want a little more flower. And so I'd say maybe some flowers like intermingled with the text. I loved what we were doing with the text and the flowers. Even like a line of flowers across the bottom where that text is, so that it's like a little footer of flowers. But I think something more could be interesting. And I also maybe would want to add in some like spray paint on the wall back here, but just very faint, like in the background kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I would also actually, thinking about it, I would probably put flowers around the disco ball. I think that's what I was going to go in with at first, but then I sort of went behind her instead.
Yep. Like a full bloom.
So that was interesting.
I love that. Well, thanks for joining us today, Holly.
No, thank you. That's been
where can
so
people
good.
find you again on Behance Instagram? What's your username?
It's Holly Rose Stones, all one word, and it should pop up everywhere. Whichever platform you want to go on.
And if you want to scroll down, there's a description, and the description actually has links for you to just click on and follow, which is super helpful. And tomorrow we will be back with Anna McNaught. We'll be doing the exact same file, and I'm guessing it's going to go in a completely different zone. I think that's the funnest part about this show is usually it's the same person working both days, and this time we're flipping it up, changing the format, and we're going to see how different we can get in those 2 days.
I kind of hope that Anna's not seen this because I wanted just to go in with like
I'll ask tomorrow to see if she's seen it. And if you want to, you can stick around right after this stream. The Daily Creative Challenge with yours truly is coming up. We are celebrating Cinco de Mayo. It is a creative replay. We'll be doing some illustrations using the pen tool, and I'm going to show you how to make some cut paper, a little papel picado. And then Mariala Mesquita is coming up right after that with a packaging stream to hang out. We love packaging, might be working in Dimension, might be doing some other stuff. So thanks so much for joining us today. See you tomorrow, same time, same place right here on Behance. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.